Hey guys, King Gaming here, and I'm going to give you a build that will rush you through the campaign pretty easily. It's a pretty simple build. It's just a 2-button build. It's gas arrow and flame wall. And I've seen other people with this build. Mine's a little bit different because the other builds I've seen, they mainly focus on poison as their main source of damage, and then flame wall is just like an additional damage. The ignite, but for my build, ignite is the main source of damage, and poison is the little ticking on it. And then I have a shield charge down here, which is good for movement. You know, it's just to get through the maps faster. Let me show you real quick what gems I'm using. So in flame wall, I'm using strip away, which increases the fire exposure by 30%, which helps with the ignite damage. And then I'm doing the fortress support gem, which makes the firewall a circle, which I think is better in my opinion, because I can put the circle around me, just kind of shoot and spin in a circle and kill all the mobs around me. And it also gives it more range, because firewall has a limited casting distance, and when you just have the wall, it only goes to the edge. But when you have the circle, it goes from the edge and then the circle comes, so you actually get more range on it. And then it's also a circle instead of a wall, so more mobs run into it. And then for gas arrow, I have martial tempo, which gives me 25% more attack speed. I have primal armament, which gives me 25% more elemental damage. And then I have scatter shot, which gives me more projectiles to kill mobs. I haven't had any issues with bosses, so I just kept this on. But if you're having any issues with bosses, which you shouldn't with this build, but you can take this off and put on another elemental damaging gem, maybe a fire pen gem. I've kind of experimented a little bit, but this seems to work for me because I can get through the mobs faster. It hasn't really hindered me on bosses. And then when I get more support gem slots here, I do plan on adding more of those elemental damage support gems on it. And then I'm running also Wind Dancer with Fiery Death, because if I get hit and this ignites them, then they explode on death, which is nice. And then this also poisons them as well, which plays into this. So it's kind of, it works for me. Now let me go over my weapons here real quick. Weapons really aren't like super crucial outside of resistances for the campaign. I think your bow is probably the most important thing. But even then, it's not super important. You just kind of want to level. Like as you level up, get a bow and then run some regal orbs on it and try to get something moderately decent. You don't need nothing too spectacular. I was even running around in a ruthless just with my bow and no gear on, and I was killing mobs still. So kind of what I did during the campaign is I focused on resistances the best I could, because I think resistances are important. But as far as evasion and armor in campaign, it's not like super crucial because you're playing a ranged character, so just run away, kite. So yeah, it's not super big deal as far as gear wise, other than resistances. But let me go over my gear here. If you want to look at it, you can slow down the video or you can pause it. But this is my gear, and then I'll kind of show you my stats. So I'm kind of trying to make a more diverse character here, because there's different skill gems that I want to use, as well as I want to have freedom to use different types of armors and stuff, because I do know that when you get to tier 17 maps, the mobs become really difficult. They're really fast and they hit for a lot. So I'm trying to solve that problem, and this is kind of one of the ways I'm doing it. And I'll kind of show you how I got my stats this high. So here are my resistances, and I have armor and 24% armor, 50 evasion, 1300 life, energy shield. But yeah, so here's my stats here if anybody is interested in that. But let me get to the skill tree here. I can't remember what this ascendancy is, but this is the one I picked. Gives you more skill points, and then gives you increased skill speed, and then it gives you movement speed buff when you're using skills. And then you're not affected by slow. So I'm planning on getting these two, and then maybe like mana charges gained, and then flash charges gained. But when I first started out this build, I focused mostly on dexterity and evasion, as you can see here. So mostly dex and evasion, and then I had projectile damage as well. So here's dex, and then I kind of went over here, got some element nodes. go down here, get some projectile damage, and then here's where I went intelligence for firewall. Did a little strength node there so I could put on some gear, and then here's more projectile damage. Then here's the elemental damage nodes that really started making my build super strong. I didn't get these yet. I plan on getting those eventually, but right now I do enough damage that I don't need them. And I kind of want to focus on other areas. But yeah, here's intelligence, and then here's one that's actually pretty good too because it does more damage when a mob is affected by an ailment. So when they're poisoned, because I'm using poison cloud or gas cloud, or poison gas, I mean, it's going to do more damage because they're infected by poison when it ignites. So that's super nice. Here's more elemental damage nodes, which help as well. And here's strength, intelligence, yeah, and then I went for the bow here to do attack speed, and then damage with bows. And then this one gives me increased skill speed, so it's just more DPS, Here I did an accuracy rating, and you get the middle one, which is 1% increased attack speed for 250 accuracy rating, which is pretty good. Let's see if does it even show accuracy rating here. Anyway, I'm not sure where it's at, but it made a major difference when I got this middle node, so it does work. And then I'm kind of working my way down here with strength because there's some other skills and stuff that I want to use for it. But here's dex. And then I went to the attribute star cluster here because I want to have a more diverse build, and which is nice because you get this, which is 10 increased attributes. So each node you buy in the future, it's going to have this buff on it, which is nice. And then this one gives 2% increased damage per 5 of your lowest attribute. My lowest attribute is 87. So that's what 87 divided by 5, and then the 2% on top of that, whatever that number is. So it's super nice. And then from here on out, I'm either going to do totems. I'm debating. So I got totems here. I'm definitely going to do this one because this is a fire cluster, which is super good. Good for ignite, good for fire pen. I'm going to do that, but I'm thinking about doing totems because you got this totem cluster here, and then you got this totem cluster here. And then if I work my way down this way, I believe there's even more totem clusters. Yeah, some more totem clusters here. So I'm thinking about doing totems as well. For one, for a distraction, 2, it'll stun them, which is nice. And then I'm also going to look for some more armor nodes because I want some, either armor or evasion. But yeah, so that's kind of what my skill tree looks like here.
Everything I promise.
No noose this time. I'll remove your head myself.
Many have tried.
First one's higher. You'll pay with your life. You will falter. That will not go unpunished. Easy prey.
Choking cloud.
Oriana, open the cage. Release the beast. Give me what you promised.
I think not. I expect so much more. If you are too weak to do the job, I'll find someone who can. Goodbye.
You manipulative whore! How dare you abandon me after all I've given you! Killing frost. I will take out your heart and savor each bite. As night falls, wind is chill, sought the unworthy. Through an endless night, they wither and tarry. Forsaken frosts, as cold as death, of baleless misery. The pack won't forget. Killing frost. I smell your blood. Requiem on high. chilling frost. I will take out your heart and savor each bite.
When the entrance was sealed. Barely broke a sweat.
Alright guys, that's it for my build video. Hopefully this helps out some of you get through the campaign. It's a pretty simple build. I struggled all the way through Act 2 until I came across this build. I finished the Dreadnought, but it was like a long 20-minute battle because I just didn't do enough damage. So I did a lot of skill gem shifting and support gem shifting, and this is kind of what I came up with. It carried me all the way through campaign. It's a little glass cannon-y, so you're going to need to focus on you know, armor, evasion, resistances once you get out of campaign for maps. I haven't ran into any issues for tier 1 maps yet, but I do know that the further you go along, the mobs get super fast and they do a lot of damage, so definitely want to keep that in mind. For campaign though, all you really need is resistances, and this build pretty much melts. If you want to see future updated build videos on this build, subscribe to the channel and like the video if you got anything out of this. Comment down below what you think of the game. Do you like it better than PoE 1? I personally like PoE 2 better, and the only reason I say this, there's one main reason, is I like WASD. I'm not a big clicker guy. It ends up hurting my hand after a while. So I'm super loving this game. I plan to make a ton of videos on it in the future. Yeah, so if you like this video and you want future updates on builds, different builds, I'm going to do some quirky builds. Like right now, I'm kind of working on a ranger with a shield, kind of like making him a paladin. But anyway, yeah, if you want future update build videos, then subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Peace out.